Welcome back, guys, to the Reformed Athlete. For those of you that don't know, my name is Caitlin. I'm Coach KP, and I am here to teach you all about how to be a lifelong athlete. The Reformed Athlete is an opportunity for me to mentor my younger self while also speaking to my future self. This is a platform where I can reflect on all of the lessons that I've learned about athleticism since retiring from my sport, growing up an athlete my entire life, and turning into a coach that helps former athletes turn into lifelong athletes now that they don't have their sport anymore. This podcast is an opportunity for me to process my thoughts, epiphanies, feelings in a public platform, so hopefully a younger athlete hears this and is able to hear the lessons that I so desperately wish that I could tell my younger self, while an older athlete takes these lessons away with them and knows that they can be an athlete their entire life regardless of their age, and that part is so important. Without further ado, let's get to it. Welcome back, guys! Welcome back to season 2. As you can see, we are in new video format here, which I'm so excited for. I've been wanting to do this for a while, so you're welcome. You get to see my bright, shining face along with your podcast now. With season 2, guys, I want to announce something super exciting. For the next 10 days, I'm going to be doing a 10-day series here on the Reformed Athlete. And this 10-day series is going to be one podcast every single day for the next 10 days, and I'm going to make sure that 2025 becomes the year of the athlete for everybody. If you have not heard my public declaration by this point, I want 2025 to be the year of the athlete. I want this to be the year that all of the former athletes that are feeling lost and confused without their athletic identity, that love going to the gym, but you just aren't really sure why it's not clicking for you the way that you always have wanted it to, I'm going to help you guys discover that the missing piece was just being an athlete. That's the part that you guys were missing. I'm going to teach you how to be an athlete at the gym. I'm going to show you how you can be an athlete in your everyday life. And I'm going to show you, this part is so important, why this journey is not just about you. The outcome of this process is not just, oh my God, cool, I look so hot now. The outcome of this process is, wow, I took my entire community with me. This is not just about me. This is about everybody around me. When my mother saw that I started working out consistently, she started working out consistently. She's like, yeah, I think I will get a membership at the recreation center because I love what you're doing and I'm inspired by that. Or maybe it's your dad saying, wow, I just want to let you know that I saw you taking your health seriously and changing the way that you looked at fitness. And because of what you were able to share with me, now I've decided to sign up for my over 50s soccer league. And it's about elevating the people around you, especially the older generation that thinks that they're washed up and thinks that they can't be an athlete anymore because their age is some definition for that. Nah, we don't do that here. We are making this year all about, yes, your athletic journey, the things that you get to accomplish, but also about the way that you are going to elevate and raise up your community with you. And I really want to emphasize that. This is the entire point of everything that I'm coaching and everything that I'm teaching, is to help elevate you and the entire team, the entire community of people around you. So I thought I would start that off by doing a 10-day podcast series here on the Reformed Athlete to help you guys really get kickstarted off on the right foot so that we can make this an athletic as hell year. Are you with me? So to start that off, I don't think that there is any better way to do day 1 of this 10-day podcast series than with game planning your entire 2025. Like, by the end of this podcast, you should know exactly the steps that you need to take to make 2025 the year of the athlete. Like, this is the only game plan that you're going to need, okay? This is something I do with my athletes every single Monday inside my 6-month group coaching program. We do a game plan for the week ahead. It's like a quick little 10 to 15 minute call at the top of every single week. I'm on live with them. We're communicating back and forth, and we're like, okay, what needs to get done this week? What can we do? How are we going to make this successful? And I drop a little coaching wisdom bomb here and there. I'm going to do that with you guys today on this podcast, okay? So let's get to step 1. Step 1 is incredibly important, and I know a lot of people are going to naturally want to skip this because it seems a little not quite the action that you were looking for, but step 1 is unbelievably important, and that is you have to start by defining what an athlete is to you. You are not playing competitively anymore. There's no more scholarship on the line. There's no more championship that you're working towards for the end of the season. You are just you now. You are a retired athlete. That does not mean you are not an athlete anymore. It just means that your definition of athleticism, your definition of what an athlete is to you, that has changed because it's not the way it was when we were younger and when we were competitive athletes. Maybe you're now competitive in a different area. Like me, I grew up playing soccer and now I'm a competitive Muay Thai fighter. Somebody else might have grown up playing competitive softball and now they just joined a recreational league that has a free t-shirt at the end. Like, I've done that with soccer before and the free t-shirt was freaking awesome. So what does being an athlete in your adult life mean to you? I just had this conversation the other day with the athletes inside Athletic AF. We talked about redefining being an athlete so that we can figure out a plan that aligns with this idea. That's the whole point of defining what an athlete is to you now in your post-retirement athletic world, is what are we actually working towards now? Because if we don't understand what we're working towards, there's no way you're going to stay consistent with it. So some ideas that my athletes came up with and some ideas that I came up with is an athlete. This is just one example. An athlete is somebody that trains as opposed to just exercises. And I think a lot of people are going to resonate with this one. When you're training for something, you are doing workouts with a specific goal in mind in terms of how your body is going to be able to perform, in terms of the things you're going to be able to do. There is a direct outcome in relation to your training that does not just have to do with like, damn, my quad's like sculpted in that mirror, or like, wow, look at that scale number go down. Like, sure, you can train for weight loss, you can train for muscle definition, but when we're thinking about an athlete, those are kind of just byproducts. That's not going to be your primary concern with your training. When you're training for something, you are eliciting a response out of your body, and each training session is specifically designed to get the best possible response that you're training for out of your body. And a lot of athletes tend to resonate with that so much more because they're like, yeah, that really aligns with what I'm used to. That aligns with what I like to do. So that's why we like to focus on training over just exercising. And that's just one definition. Some other definitions that we came up with was that an athlete is somebody that is very disciplined in their training. Because an athlete has to show up. They have to perform. They don't have the option to just kind of like mess around, take a couple weeks off, miss days here and there. That's not an athlete. That's somebody that's just like casually hitting the gym. We want to be athletes. We want to embrace the full identity. And when we can define that identity as someone that shows up to all of their training sessions, that puts in the work, that takes the disciplined action, that's when you can feel like an athlete, even if you're not competing on a field, because you're still identifying with the actions an athlete takes. You are still training in the gym and treating your workouts and mentally getting in the zone of an athlete, irregardless of a competition at the end or not. So when it comes to your own definition of what an athlete is, you need to figure this out for yourself. You need to ask yourself these questions and get an understanding of what your mindset is around what athleticism is to you now. My personal definition was already shared here. An athlete is somebody that wants to train to be the best at life that they possibly can. Now, this whole life part, that's where it gets specific to you. For me, I want to be really good at Muay Thai. I want to be able to play soccer on a Sunday if I so choose to. I don't want to be limited to the national parks that I can explore based on my body's physical conditioning, based on my strength. I want to be able to embrace and seize any opportunity that comes my way, and that's physical freedom. And to me, that's being a lifelong athlete. An athlete is somebody that's able to perform in anything they want their body to be able to do. I want to be healthy enough that my physical freedom is never the thing that limits me. So you are going to pause this, or maybe just take a second and write it down in your notes app, write it down on a piece of paper, stick it on your fridge, do whatever you got to do. Figure out what it means to be an athlete in your own eyes, in your own definition, and we're going to move on from there. Now that you know what it means to be an athlete to you, we need to find something specific that we can measure this by, okay? So now that you have your own definition, we need to figure out what you can physically do, what characteristics you can measure that are going to define this for you. So what I mean is, if you're somebody like me that said, you know what? I just want to be able to train for the real world. I want to be able to say yes to any opportunity that comes my way. Or maybe you're somebody that said, oh, I very specifically have a Spartan race that I want to run, or I've always wanted to run a half marathon. I'm going to embrace being a running athlete this year. Like, you can figure out how to take the definition of athleticism that you just defined and how you can physically measure that in moments, in experiences, in opportunities. Like, let's figure out what that realistically looks like. Let's take the concept and put it into the real world action here, okay? So some ideas that I came up with was, maybe you want to do the Spartan race like I just mentioned. Maybe you want to do the half marathon like I just mentioned. Take a step back. Maybe you just want to do a 5K. Maybe you're like, girl, I am starting from ground zero here. I need to make sure that I can build up to a point where my body can just like physically support me and move. You get to determine what this looks like. Do you want to join a Volo league? Do you want to have a super fun softball game followed by beers with your teammates? That's great. That's fun. That can be an athlete for you now. Oh, what a concept. Sports can be fun and not just competition. You could have a goal to sign up for a boxing class by April. Maybe you're too intimidated right now with your current level of fitness, which you shouldn't be. Join the boxing class anyway. But if that's where you're at, then that's where you're at. Maybe you just want to get a couple of consistent weeks of working out in before you sign up for that class so that you can feel more confident stepping into this kind of intimidating environment, which again, it shouldn't be that way. Find a better gym if your gym is intimidating. Okay? You guys, it's coming from the professional here. So these are some examples of ways that you can measure your athleticism, of physical things you're going to be able to do that are going to be like, damn, I did that. I can see that all of my training that I did led to this moment where I feel super good and super confident about what my body can do. You guys are trying to put the puzzle pieces together now, okay? So examples of things that I am going to work on this 2025 to help me define what it means to be an athlete. Because as you guys just heard, you heard my definition. What does that look like for me? Maybe you can take some inspiration away from this. Well, I haven't been so discreet so far in my examples. A lot of those are the ways that I'm going to choose to measure my athleticism. So a big one that I have is I'm going to be competing in a basically global Muay Thai tournament this year. Or I guess I should say it's from the US. It's called USMTO. It's the US Muay Thai Open. That's a competition where I'm going to get to showcase my athleticism in a very traditionally athletic setting. So that's where all of my training is very specifically going towards this energy. But then after that event, I also told the gym that I was going to get everybody signed up for a Spartan race this year. So this is something that, for those that don't know, I work at a fighting gym. And at this gym, I'm going to have members sign up for the Spartan race so that we can all compete in this together. So now I'm quite literally leading a pack of humans through a Spartan race. So I've got to be ready to compete in a Spartan race. That means I've got to work on my cardio conditioning. It means I've got to work on my running. It means I've got to work on not just my strength for a 3-minute Muay Thai round, but I've got to work on my endurance because a Spartan race is a hell of a lot longer than 2-3-minute rounds. So I gotta be ready to go there. So other things that I have on the horizon is specifically in the weight room. I really want to get stronger in my compound lifts. So specifically for my squat, the heaviest squat I ever did was 185.5 or 182.5. And that was back in February of 2018. So I said one of my goals this year is I want to get back up to my near squat max by August and then increase that to hit a new PR by the end of 2025. So now I have a weight room specific goal that's going to be like, yeah, I got my legs stronger. I became a better fighter for it. I became a stronger sprinter for it. I am developing athletic qualities. And I do have some just general strength goals that are completely related to being an athlete that would make me feel really good about accomplishing. So that's another example of an athletic feat. It doesn't have to be outside of the weight room. You can also have goals inside the weight room. So those are some examples of goals that I want to hit this month. Oh, also, this one I'm feeling very passionate about. I want to make sure that every single month when I do my Strong Woman Saturday challenge, that I'm getting a faster time each month. For those that don't know, Strong Woman Saturday is something I do inside my Athletic AF 6-month group coaching program. Every single month on the first Saturday of the month, we do something called the Strong Woman Saturday Challenge. And it's basically, I don't know if you guys are familiar with strong man competitions or strong woman competitions, but it's like incredible feats of just human strength. It's like pulling tires with a chain, crazy, strong, heavy yoke carries where you put the rack on your back and you're walking with it, farmer's carries, throws, all of the things. It's just an incredible exhibition of human strength. So if you guys haven't heard of it, go look it up. It's super cool. But what I do is kind of like a DIY version of that with my athletes inside Athletic AF. And it's the same competition that we do the entire 6-month period that they're in the program. And it's just a big moment of physical and mental strength because we're doing a really hard workout and you time how long it takes you to get done. So my personal goal is for the entire year, every single time that I do Strong Woman Saturday with the athletes inside of my group coaching program, I'm also getting faster each month. Again, just to be a leader and to be a captain and a coach in this environment, I gotta practice what I preach. So while my athletes are working their little booties off in my program, I'm gonna be working my booty off with them. So that's a personal goal for me is I want to compete with the athletes that I'm coaching so that we can all have this incredible team experience together where we continue to get stronger and faster and more powerful every single month. So that's something from like a personal standpoint I'm really looking forward to because it's going to create such incredible community inside Athletic AF, which we already have. Like the athletes inside are already so amazing. I want to be amazing with them. So those are some of the ways that I'm going to measure my athleticism as a lifelong athlete, as a retired competitive yet lifelong athlete in 2025. So step 1 is define an athlete. Step 2 is figure out what that looks like physically in the real world. Step 3, let's map it out, because step 3 is really important for when we get to step 4, but you want to figure out generally. You don't have to have the specific dates, though it does help. So if you're somebody that thrives off of structure, I would find specific dates for this. But this is where we want to figure out specifically what we're going to be focusing on the different times of the year. So for me, the end of March, that's when my USMTO championship experience is going to be. So that's when I want to be focusing between now and the end of March. My sole focus is becoming a better Muay Thai fighter. Maybe you are somebody that by the end of, Q1, so maybe by April 1st, you want to be running your first 5K. Maybe it's been a while since you've gotten some miles under those shoes of yours. So if that's the case, you have 8 weeks between now and April 1st to have a kick-ass 5K program. So what you want to do is take that goal and you're going to reverse engineer it. So if I wanted to do 8 weeks between now and my first 5K, I would say, okay, let's add a quarter mile to my run every single week. So let's say you can just run a mile right now. You can get it done. You're going to do 1 mile this week, 1.25 miles next week, 1.5 miles the week after, 1.75 miles the week after, etc., etc. So you're going to add a quarter mile onto your runs each week until you get to 3 miles, and then you're going to be able to hit 3.1 miles or the 5K, no problemo, by the beginning of April. You're also going to orient your strength training to be supportive of a runner. So if you're somebody that likes to do 3 to 4 rep maxes, you're probably going to take a step back from that for at least this period of time where you're focusing on running, and you're going to focus on more of an endurance adaptation in the gym. That's when you want your strength sessions to be supporting your running goals. Because yes, maybe you love getting stronger, and maybe you do want to get stronger throughout 2025, but right now, your focus is on your run. It's on this 5K. So what you have to do is take a step back and reorient your workouts around the concept of having this specific training goal. That's why these training goals matter so much. And that's why understanding right now I'll focus on endurance, but then later I'll focus on strength again, but then later I'm going to focus on endurance again. You get to decide how you want to orient your year and your training so that it always stays interesting. You're always motivated and working towards something, and you're playing to your strengths as an athlete that loves to train, not just exercise. So that's an example. You want to hit a 5K by the end of April, or by the end of March, beginning of April. And then let's say you want to transition into a Spartan race, as I just mentioned. For me, I'm going to be leading the Spartan race in April. That's a month after USMTO. So after March, I have to orient my training around strength endurance and not just Muay Thai power. I have to make sure that I am training to lead this pack of humans through the Spartan race. So I know my training for the month of April is going to be a Spartan race. Maybe you sign up for a Spartan race in September. So after your April 5K, you have April, May, June, July, and August. You have 5 months to train for a Spartan race. Now you're going to switch your training from not just endurance training, not just running training in the gym, but now you're going to set up workouts that are oriented around having a higher grip strength, because there's a lot of monkey bar and carrying type activities in a Spartan race. Now you're going to make sure that, unfortunately, you're practicing your burpees, because that's the punishment if you can't complete an obstacle at a Spartan race. Maybe this is when you're going to focus on having a vest on, a weighted vest on while you're running, because you know that there's going to be weighted runs as a part of the Spartan race. Now that you have your specific athletic endeavor in mind, you get to take the qualities of that event and orient your training around being ready for said event. And now you're not just hitting aimless random workouts at the gym, you're orienting your specific focus around what you want your body to be able to do. Are you guys starting to connect the dots why this is the most effective training method ever? It's because you always know what you're working towards. So you map out, your step 3 is you map out the athletic endeavors that you're going to do. And then step 4 is you're going to reverse engineer your endeavors and figure out what your training is going to look like within those phases of time, within those periods, okay? Now, if you are somebody where you know you want to get athletic, you are like, train like an athlete, I'm in. I know that's what I want, but here's the thing. Yeah, there's things I want to be able to do. I want to be able to go on the hike with my grandkids when they come visit me for the summer. Yeah, I want to be able to play pickup soccer when my friends start a league in April. Like, yeah, that's cool, but I already feel like those are things I could do. I just want to generally get more athletic so that I can do these things better. I don't think I need to train for soccer. I don't think I need to train for that hike, but I just want my body to be in a general state of athleticism so that when these things occur, when these things happen, when they pop up in my life, I'm able to say, hell yes, sign me up, I'm ready. That's just being like the prepared athlete. That is being someone that lives in a state of lifelong athleticism so that you can have the physical freedom to do what you want to do. I totally get that. So if maybe you don't have a specific goal in mind right now, but you want to stay athletic so that you are able to say yes when an opportunity presents itself, allow me to offer my suggestion. As I mentioned earlier, guys, I am going to be doing strong women competitions every single month. I recommend you do the strong woman method too. This does not mean that you have to do something totally crazy and wild and it's over the top and it's extreme. Like, that's not what we do in Athletic AF. We keep it simple, but we keep it difficult. We make sure it pushes us. We make sure it challenges us. So if you're somebody that wants just general athleticism and you don't have something specific that you're training for, but you want to know you're getting more athletic, you want to be able to track it, you want to be able to train for something, then make your strong woman event. Every month, the first Saturday of every single month, do a strong woman competition and have your workouts in the gym oriented around getting better at these events so that you're always training for something, you're staying generally athletic, and you're able to say yes when opportunities arise. So if you're anything like the athletes in my Athletic AF program, I start them by making sure they have a really strong foundation. That's the entire phase 1 of the training, is strong foundations. And after that, we switch into phase 2, which is a very power-centric focus. This is when we're working on explosive movements, using the strength we just built to be a faster sprinter, a higher jumper, a faster weightlifter where it's relevant. This is where we're taking the adaptations of strength and we're turning them into fast strength, aka power. And then after that, we transition into phase 3, which is our strength endurance in our general athleticism phase, where we're focusing on longevity, we're focusing on our endurance when it comes to our cardio systems, we're focusing on our stamina. That's where we're taking the strength and the power, and now we're combining it with the ultimate conditioning to just make sure that you are like the most well-rounded kick-ass athlete ever. So when you're thinking about this type of phasic training, you are not training for the Spartan race specifically, you're not training for the soccer league specifically, you're not training for the half marathon specifically, but you're constantly working through a cycle of developing different qualities of athleticism so that you're constantly training for something and you're retesting your strength once a month, every single month, to make sure that your body is moving the direction that you want it to be able to move in. And that's the Athletic AF way. Like, that's what we do in the program. So you guys are welcome to join that if that sounds interesting. Again, just reach out to me via Instagram DM, via the comments here, email, it doesn't matter. Just say the word athlete or Athletic AF and I'll know what you're talking about. And this is a way that you can stay interested in your training all year round. So you can do my strong woman competition, you can join the team, or if you want to just do it on your own, make something fun and make sure you're retesting it every single month. Okay? The strong woman method is one of the best ways to stay generally athletic without having anything specifically that you're training for, or you just want the opportunity to say yes to anything that comes your way. So now that you know what an athlete means to you in your post-competitive athlete life, now that you know what you want to use, what variables you want to use to actually measure your athleticism, now that you've mapped them out on your calendar and you see when they're going to occur, and now that you have reverse engineered each of those individual goals to figure out what you want to be training in the gym during that period of time, you guys are officially ready for step 5, which is making sure that you get ahead of the roadblocks, making sure that you are able to stay consistent, making sure you're able to keep the motivation going, make sure you're able to keep taking disciplined actions, even though the excitement has kind of faded away. And that is exactly what we're going to talk about in day 2 of the 10-day podcast series. So that's going to be part 2 of this episode. You guys got all of the strategy in this episode. The next episode, I'm going to teach you all about how you can orient your champion mindset around making sure you're staying consistent and disciplined with this plan, with the strategy, so that 2025 is the year of the athlete for you. Okay? Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. I'm so excited to be back for season 2. If you got any benefit out of this, no matter what platform you're watching this on, please subscribe, please like this, give it 5 stars if that's an option, comment and let me know what you thought so I can continue cultivating podcasts that are actually going to benefit you guys. And just know I'm so grateful for you guys being here. I love that I have this opportunity to speak to you and to help you make 2025 the year of the athlete for all of you guys. Please let me know what you thought of the episode. I love to hear your feedback, and I will catch you guys for day 2.